4.5 minutes into Steven Spielberg's AI artificial intelligence, William Hurt's Professor Hobby, the head of the tech firm Cybertronics, says something striking.
I propose that we build a robot who can love.
The phrasing is instrumental. Hurt uses the word who, almost exclusively reserved for people, and not that, a word applied to things. The distinction is quite important, since these robots would serve as replacements for children in an age of devastating climate change and restricted birth rates. When Hobby and his team of scientists then create David, an artificial boy designed to experience and exhibit real love, two questions are also born. Is David's love genuine and not a matter of programming? And if it's real, then is he, in fact, a real boy? It leads to an even bigger question, applicable to David, his robotic peers and companions, the parents who adopt him, to the natural son, to all of us. What does it mean to be human? It's one of the biggest philosophical musings of them all, beautiful for its complexities, its contradictions, and its abstractions. But there are certain clear and undeniable aspects that allow for an exploration of the question in the film. Because these things are easily applied to and seen in David, the robot who yearns to become a real boy so that he can earn the love of his mother, we're left somewhat shaken and troubled by his journey. What does David have that are accepted aspects of the human condition? One, he has the capacity for deep thought, including abstract thought, and he has a very real sense of self.
Will you die?
Well, one day, David, yes, I will.
I'll be alone.
Two, he experiences a range of emotions, has the capacity to reason and set goals, and possesses undeniable self-awareness. In fact, these things combine to make up his wish to become human, so that he can connect with his human mother.
The blue fairy made Pinocchio into a real boy. She can make me into a real boy. I must find her. I must become real.
Three, he is capable of establishing very real relationships and connections with others, both human and robot.
Let go of him. Let go of me. I said let go. I'm trying.
Don't let go. Keep me safe. Don't let go.
Yourselves.
Four, he is capable of philosophical and moral thought and reasoning.
After I find the blue fairy, then I can go home. Mommy will love a real boy. The blue fairy will make me into one.
By all conventional definitions, David is human. Does it make a difference that beneath his boyish features and skin, he is mechanical and not organic? These concepts in the capping question were brilliantly laid out by Mary Shelley in her early 19th century novel Frankenstein. The being brought to life by scientist Victor Frankenstein is not mechanical, yet he is not quite human, and he has all of the human traits listed above. But like David, he is seen as something other, and he is mistreated and cast aside. And Professor Hobby, like Victor, is a moral failure. Neither stop to ask just because they might be capable of achieving something, does that mean that they should? Perhaps most important, they never consider that if their creations are capable of achieving consciousness, what are they owed? Hobby is asked the question directly in the aftermath of his proposal, but it doesn't seem to move him.
If a robot could genuinely love a person, what responsibility does that person hold toward that mecha in return?
The creature story in Frankenstein and David's in AI are heartbreaking because both want only the most basic of human desires, to love and be loved. The creature in Shelley's tale yearns for this after he's abandoned moments after opening his eyes. He is alone in the world, left to wonder why, since he has done nothing to deserve such treatment, never having connected with his father and creator at all. David's story is similar but more heartbreaking in that he has been welcomed into a home and then activated by his adopted mother, Frances O'Connor's Monica, who believes that her own son may forever be comatose after contracting a rare disease. David, who was brought to screen life by perhaps the greatest child performance ever put on film by Haley Joel Osment, is at first strange and clearly not quite human. His mannerisms are a bit off, his laugh strange and emitted out of context. This is because he is designed to undergo a metamorphosis upon imprinting, a process by which a series of code words are spoken, triggering David into becoming a devoted and loving son, who will thereafter refer to the person who initiates the protocol as Mommy. His love and devotion will last forever, or at least until his human parents tire of him and return him to Cybertronics for destruction.
David. Monica.
What were those words for, Mommy?
What did you call me?
Mommy. You're my mommy.
Monica's activation of David echoes that of Professor Hobby's. Just because she can does not mean that she should. She has not considered crucial questions, including what happens if her son is rescued by medical science, and what happens when she wants to be rid of David, who will never grow, never age, and will forever be an 11-year-old boy needing a mother's love to feel that life has meaning. Of course, for the narrative to move forward and for these questions to be answered, the requisite events occur. Monica's son, Martin, emerges from his coma and returns home. Martin, jealous of a kind of artificial brother, bullies him. It boils to a head when David pulls Martin to the bottom of his swimming pool at Martin's birthday party, not because he's ill-intentioned, but because he feels threatened by Martin's friends. Perceiving David as a threat, Monica is convinced by her husband to return David to Cybertronics. He thinks it's a kind of game, and it is his childish innocence that persuades Monica to abandon him in a forest, give him money, and tell him to avoid certain dangers. Like Frankenstein's creature, he's left without guidance to find his own way.
I'm sorry I'm not real. If you let me, I'll be so real for you.
I'm sorry I didn't tell you about the world.
But David is not completely alone. With his mechanical teddy bear, he ultimately decides that, like Pinocchio in the story that Monica reads to him and Martin, the key to his salvation and the winning of Monica's love is to become a real boy. The difference between Pinocchio and David is that Pinocchio needs to atone for bad behavior and learn the merits of responsibility and duty, and it is only after he learns and demonstrates these things that he is made a real boy. David, like Victor's creature, has not done anything to deserve becoming an outcast. As the creature notes throughout Frankenstein, even Satan transgressed before being punished. Spielberg's story, which he inherited from Stanley Kubrick after the latter worked on it off and on for more than 10 years, is split into 3 distinct parts. The first charts David's arrival at the home of Monica and Henry, to the point that Monica abandons him. The second documents David meeting Gigolo Joe, a robot pleasure model who ends up on the run after being framed for murder. This section brilliantly shows an evolution of robot technology, highlighted by Joe and David being captured and taken to a flesh fair, where robots are subjected to medieval tortures and destroyed for the amusement of humans who look upon robots as an existential threat. David escapes because the crowd turns on the fair's Barnum-esque leader. David appears too human, especially when he emotionally begs for his life.
Don't burn me! Don't burn me! I'm not Pinocchio! Don't make me die! I'm David!
It's a fascinating counterpoint to the pleading done by HAL 9000 in Kubrick's 2001: A Space Odyssey, when HAL pleads for his existence in a calm monotone with a character coincidentally named Dave. The crowd cannot stomach the idea of violence being inflicted upon David because he seems all too human. As Hamlet might say, therein lies the rub. Is David's humanity merely a perception, a brilliant magic trick, or is it reality? David explains to Joe that he must find the Blue Fairy so that she can turn him into a real boy. Joe then takes David to Rouge City for an encounter with Dr. No, an AI program designed to answer questions for money.
How can the Blue Fairy make a robot into a real live boy?
Dr. No cryptically sends David towards Cybertronics headquarters in a flooded Manhattan. There, he meets another robot David, who cheerfully greets him as he sits reading in an office chair. When the robot in the chair asserts that he is David, our David experiences an identity crisis.
She's mine. And I'm the only one.
I'm David! I'm
It is shocking, but crucial symbolically. It is the most human thing imaginable to instinctually solve a crisis through an act of violence. Dr. Hobby finds him in the office, and he greets David in a manner reminiscent of an owner welcoming home a lost puppy. He does not greet David as a boy or son so much as a creation who has somehow gone beyond his program parameters, which astounds Hobby, while it reminds us that David has seemed to become human.
You found a fairy tale, and inspired by love, fueled by desire, you set out on a journey to make her real, and most remarkable of all, no one taught you how. We actually lost you for a while.
What David has done also reminds us, if not David, that he is indeed unique. David, however, believes that the world that he thought he knew does not exist, and he does not know what to make of it.
My brain is falling out.
When Hobby leaves to get the rest of his team, David leaves the office in a daze, and we see framed pictures of Hobby's deceased son, who was served as the model for the robot David. Our David then encounters a line of robots ready to be shipped, all named David, and all looking like him. David then reasserts his humanity in the darkest way possible. He sits at the edge of the skyscraper and utters what he thinks will be his final word, "Mommy," before pushing away and plunging hundreds of feet into the sea. He is rescued by Joe in the amphibious helicopter that they use to travel to Manhattan. As David excitedly tells Joe that he saw the Blue Fairy underwater, Joe is pulled up magnetically by human authorities in another helicopter. As he pushes the submerge button on the copter, Joe makes an astonishing claim.
I am.
I was.
It echoes Descartes' "I think, therefore I am." Joe reminds David that they, are conscious, sentient beings. We are forced to evaluate Joe and his fate even before we reach our final conclusions concerning David. David maneuvers the amphibicopter to the Blue Fairy he saw at the bottom, accidentally clipping the huge Ferris wheel at a submerged Coney Island along the way. David reaches the Blue Fairy, which is of course just a statue at a Pinocchio exhibit. The Ferris wheel crashes down and traps them in front of the statue, which David stares at and pleads with,
Please, please make me into a real live boy. Please.
This sets the stage for the shortest of the three parts. As David sits and pleads with the Blue Fairy to make him a real boy, we are told in narration that David is trapped there for 2,000 years before he is found by the inheritors of the earth, sentient robots who have evolved and survived after the extinction of humanity. David is the last link to living people, which raises a philosophical question. Is he merely a direct link to humanity, or the last human in that he has the capacity to love, fear, hope, and dream? The evolved mecha revive David and reconstruct his home from his embedded memory. David is told that the robots have the technology to bring back people from bits of DNA, but they can only live a single day before going to sleep and dying again forever. They cannot bring back Monica because they don't have her DNA, until Teddy gives David a lock of Monica's hair that he tucked away after David cut a piece of it away earlier in the film. David demands that they make him happy, and he insists that Monica might be different, that perhaps she will live beyond a single day with the kind of naive hope that children have.
Now you can bring her back. Can't you?
In an emotional final set piece, Monica is brought to life so that David can be reunited with her for a single wonderful day during which he is the focus of her attention and love.
I love you, David. I have always loved you.
She goes to sleep, never to awaken, and David, who is, we are told, incapable of sleep, cuddles next to her. He closes his eyes, and we are told something powerful and enigmatic in voiceover.
He went to that place where dreams are born.
Is it the appearance of humanity in sleep for the first time? A picture of true contentment for the only time in his existence? Or has he willed himself to a kind of sleep? Or has he willed himself to somehow perish with her? The questions are left unanswered, and we are left wondering what it is to be human, asking if it ultimately means hoping, loving, and dreaming in the face of an end that we know must come.